Where are you? Every time I'm trying to think, what Blink 182 song does that opening jingle sound like?
I feel like you just did the only Blink 182 impression that exists.
Have you seen there's some people on TikTok that kind of do, this is what it's like playing hide and seek. Where are you? And they go, and I'm so sorry. Oh, you found me. Yeah,
I love all the emo millennial content. Like it's
great.
so fantastic. The only thing I don't like is how all punk somehow became emo in the evolution of time. I don't quite understand that.
I think it is a gross misrepresentation of what I call the golden era of music between 2002 and 2008, possibly. I don't know. When did My Chemical Romance become bad? It's generally the end point. But there we go. Interesting that we said Blink 182 and you said Blink 182. Also, you could have had Blink 182, which just sounds weird. I don't know which is the right one, but
What did you say?
Blink 182.
Oh, Blink 182. Totally.
No.
Yeah. No, 100%.
You're saying 182. I'm saying 182.
Yeah, it's Blink 182.
That doesn't make any sense. Why? Is there a story behind that you're not telling me?
It's the number thing. It's like me saying 7,500 and you thinking I'm talking about 75,000.
Yeah, for those who are not part of our private one-on-one conversations that we have, Callie said the number 7,500, and it blew my mind because like, what, 75,000? No, you said 7,500. Oh, you mean 7,500? Numbers are just a whole different language apparently between us. I've got some sad news, Callie, before we get our guest out. And I haven't told you this. There has been a death in the Work Sucks household. You'll have noticed that for the past 9 episodes, I have drank a whiskey from the same glass, which is a replica glass from Blade Runner. And unfortunately, after 10 years of having that glass, it broke at the weekend.
Did you try to glue it together and salvage it?
I broke it twice in one weekend. So I have these whiskey stones, and I went to put the whiskey stones in, and one of them did on the edge and like put a small like crack in it. I was like, that's okay. That's fine. I can deal with that. And then I was doing the washing up because you don't put it in the dishwasher because it's good glassware. I dropped a mug into the sink and it landed, and then the whole thing just exploded.
So I think it's a sign that I need to go back and get the set. I'm going to call it a set. It was a pair of Green Bay Packers mugs, one white, one green, that I looked at 3 times this weekend while in a cooking store and then went, he's not going to want to have that weight in his suitcase coming back next time.
I definitely will. I have started listening to a Wisconsin-based podcast now as well about Wisconsin Live, and I'm like, I am all in. When me and the family decide that we've had enough of the UK and America is safe for us to live in, we'll come over. So we'll probably move to Australia instead.
Fair.
We had some good America politics chat with our guest beforehand. Safe to say that we will not be broaching American politics on. Well, I'll be surprised if we do, but we're probably just going to leave it there because we do not have £1 billion to be sued for. So we're best just keeping our mouths shut. Well, now we're just unpicking that whole statement. I'm going, what a world we live in. Right. Who have we got? Callie? Who's our guest?
Oh, man. I get to introduce him, and I just met him. Greg Arthur.
Hey, here he is.
Hello. It's me.
This is only the second time I've ever gotten to introduce anyone.
Does he hog it?
Is that a surprise?
Yeah, of course he does.
Just to clear it up, I think it is 182.
182?
Wow.
182. I was listening in.
You're also not Americans. You can't. It is an American band. 182.
I'm pretty sure I've heard them say it. 182. I'm not. My wife is a huge Blink 182 fan. And I question this sometimes when I'm like, because she likes the nasally one, the one that Toby was singing from, one that sings out of his nose. Can't.
Where are you?
It's not
Travis
his
Barker,
mouth,
is it?
He's actually incredible. It's the other one. Tom DeLonge, that's it. Name
Yeah,
came to me.
that's it.
Awful man.
I'll have
I'm
to
sure
check
he's
because,
lovely. I'm sure
like,
he's lovely, but just sounds terrible.
Oh,
I,
right.
like,
It's like
grew-
I'm not assassinating his character, just to clarify. I'm sure he's
It's
a
like,
great
wow,
guy.
we're not going to take down
That's a
any
good
politicians,
clarification.
but we'll.
This has started
No,
so badly
like,
for me.
I
Let's
grew
keep
up in
going.
basement punk shows. Like, this is flooring me that you guys say it differently. I'll have to look.
Either I've just heard lots of people say 182, or I've heard them say, I've seen them, and I'm sure they said 182.
I'll look it
I'm
up.
sure it was a long time ago, though.
I
Is
have
it
never
Papa
heard
Roach
anyone say 182. It's always been 182.
Do you say Papa Roach or Papa Roach?
Papa
me.
Roach.
Yeah, that is a joke. We don't say Papa Roach. Could you imagine?
I wish that were the truth. We should start doing that, actually.
Papa Roach. Papa Roach, Papa Roach. What do you want me to do with your life? Cut it into pieces? My goodness, that's awfully bleak. Anyway, we should move on. The pop punk podcast that is Work Sucks, apparently. Greg, we're going to just... Oh, well, no, actually, first of all, Greg, what's your... Well, I was going to say, what's your name and what do you do? We know your name, but you have a very, very cool logo and your own podcast. Tell us about those two things.
Separately or together? I'll do them together. We're going to save time. So I have a design agency called Two Circles Design Studio, and we are a product design for learning agency. So we talk about lots of things to do with experience design and product design and how that can make proper learning products that actually solve real problems and are things that people want to use and should be using rather than just things. I feel like a lot of people just make things and go, made a thing. I'm like, cool, that's nice. I made a thing at school once. Don't know what that thing is, but I wouldn't use it again. Whereas now I make things that people use that hopefully, and they do, solve real problems for real people. And that's why they pay me.
That's very cool. And I think if you're not following Two Circles Design Studio and Greg on LinkedIn, you really should be, because there is some of the best kind of quote infographic-y type canvas scrolly carousel things. There you go, really selling it. But they make me laugh. They make me chuckle every time I see them.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I need to.
they're very good. They're very good.
Do some more. And and we have a podcast called the Product Design for Learning podcast. Couldn't think of a name for it, so I just called it exactly what it is. So
I bet that's helpful for people finding it.
Well, it's clear labeling, which is great UX. So I'm taking that all the way to the bank.
That's a good point. Who's finding our podcast with a name like Work Sucks? What are you Googling to find that? A question that doesn't need answering now, but certainly will do in a WhatsApp group chat somewhere along down the line. Since you did the introduction, Callie, shall I go ahead and ask the first question? Greg, so as you know, we ask big questions about the world, the worst parts of your working career. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to kick off with the first one with tell us about your worst ever interview experience.
So it's around, I'm trying to think of the time now. Yeah, it would have been in the golden age of music between 2002 and 2008. I think it's actually 2001 because that's when Is This It came out. So it's in there. I think I just had either my 20th or 21st birthday. I can't remember which. But I had a lovely time the night before. I'd been out, had a nice time. And then I was interviewing. I had an assessment centre, one of those like all-day things, the following day, for just a high street company. Because I'm not going to say who it was. And obviously, because I was very much into the Strokes, rather than having a suit, I had some incredibly tight trousers and like a 70s blazer and like a little skinny tie. So that I basically went in fancy dress as the Strokes, outrageously hungover to this assessment centre. I didn't get it. They didn't call me back. And there was a guy that had clearly gone to bed early, ironed his suit, rather than just the shirt. He looked like he'd owned the whole thing. And he was very much the alpha. So anytime there was like a team task, he would take charge. And I was almost a bit like, thank you, because I can't do this. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe it gets like midday and they'll be like, right, you and you can go home. We don't want you for the rest of the day. They kept all of us there all day. It was
a whole day assessment center.
Yeah, it was clear from like, and I think it started at 9:30. It was clear by 10 o'clock that I wasn't going to get the job. So I should have just taken myself home. But I just thought, I'm here now. Let's see where this goes. Nowhere.
You should have done what we call a Kirsty Bags Morgan, who had, through most of her answers, had the tendency just to walk out of situations because, like, nah, not for me. So we call that a KBM moment, where you should just be walking out there. I think, well, Callie and I were both nodding at the fashion, kind of, yeah, been there,
Yeah.
been there.
Mentally, I was thinking, I look great. If I look back on it now, I'll probably be like, no, oh no. Like, probably
Just
the
like it
proportions
hasn't-
were all wrong.
Like it hasn't aged well, or you would tell yourself to dress differently if you could redo this interview?
I think a bit of both. As in, like, you know, vintage, like, in that golden age of music, if you watch Albert Hammond Jr. at any point during that period, you're like, he's wearing a suit. He's wearing his little tie, probably a little pair of trainers. He looks superb. He's also in the Strokes, which is why he looks superb. I was not in the Strokes, and I was interviewing for a recruiter's job. Yeah.
You could have been the cool recruiter.
Oh, well, maybe. I don't know if they exist. Maybe they do, but
There's a question.
they didn't 20 years ago. I can tell you that.
I think we can all agree on that point. That's very fair.
Yeah, I just the more I think about it now, the more I'm just thinking, at what point did I not just go, nah, I'll either stay in the night before because I've got a full day interview tomorrow, and it was like a Tuesday or something. Like I went out on a Tuesday.
As a 21-year-old does.
It's when all the kids are out on a Tuesday.
It's Tuesday now. I just looked at my thing. It's Tuesday now. The thought of going out tonight, absolutely not. I just had a glass of water because the thought of having a beer at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, I was like, oh, I better not. This guy's got kids. He's being cool. But yeah.
No, I'm just trying to cope. I have a question for you. So the skinny tie, I think I don't think it's ever come back yet. I think it's maybe on the verge of coming back. I have to ask you a question because I had several skinny ties. Silk, as a normal tie is, or silk, cottony silk, right? Not actual silk. Knitted was one at one point. I also had a skinny leather tie, which was grey. What was your tie made out of?
Not leather. No.
You have a picture of you wearing a leather tie?
I think
I completely forgotten about this tie until you said skinny ties. Like, oh my god, I had two of them. I had dark grey and light grey leather skinny tie.
I think the only correct answer is none of mine were leather. Like, and therefore they were fine. Like,
Spot on.
really wanted a keyboard tie, not like an actual. You can play it, but like the one with a little pad.
Yeah.
Could never find one. Like you'd have to go on eBay for those, and they would, as soon as they were up, they were gone. Never saw one in real life either.
Was it like a Zoolander reference?
No, I think just people in the 80s were just really cool, films would make you believe that everyone had one, but then where are they? They couldn't have all just collectively gone, we're all putting them in the bin now. Like,
It's
no
like
idea.
What films?
the weird.
What films does this tie appear in? Sorry,
you didn't ask me this question up front, so I didn't do my research.
Sorry,
That's all I'm gonna do. I don't know. Many films that have like either a flashback to the 80s or a set in the 80s. But really wanted one of those. Never had one. Mine were just like they look like skinny school ties. There was never really a pattern on them. It was just, if you could imagine one of the Strokes wearing it, I'd be like, I'll have that. But
okay,
yeah. But
nice.
never leather. Never.
No, All right, okay, I get it. But...
I think you need to look for a picture.
Oh, there are pictures.
There has to be.
I don't think. No, I'm not even on Facebook or anything like that anymore. So they're probably all completely wiped from the face of the internet, which is great. But I would like to see Toby's one. Do you still have it?
The tie.
Both ties.
Both ties. I remember one of them snapped. And
How do you snap a tie?
I honestly, I don't think the quality. When I say leather, I don't think again, the same as my silk ties aren't silk. I don't think my leather ties were actually leather.
Oh.
They were leather effect, which probably makes it better, right? Obviously, clearly that makes it better.
Yeah.
I'll have a look. I wasn't keen on having my photograph. I wonder why. In the early 2000s, I tried to dye my hair. This is a reference, actually, that I think only Greg might get. Callie, you certainly won't. Apologies, but you might. There was a footballer called Freddie Ljungberg who used to play for Arsenal. And in the kind of 2000s, early 2000s, he had a red stripe of hair.
Yes, I remember.
And it kind of curled round. And I decided that I was going to do that. And when I talk about red, I'm talking about like literal red, right? Not like a redhead like yourself, Kelly. Like I'm talking about like a bright red. So I tried to do that. And I fucked it up. Like it looked horrendous. So I went, okay, well, I'll just dye my hair blonde then instead.
You do it yourself.
And then I went this awful color. And there will be plenty of pictures of me with that awful hair color, maybe wearing a leather tie.
Yikes. So it's, did you do it yourself? The stripe?
Yeah, of course. Because why would I pay a professional with such a simple and easy
or
task?
Even just get a second person. You must have known one other person to go, I'll help you. I
lived with my mum and my brother. I did it when they were out because it was like be easier.
To be fair, I think I was like 16, 17. Blue. Like this kind of blue. But then it went green.
Blue's cool because like all like people on Twitch and stuff have blue hair now. So like I think you're probably 25 years ahead of your time.
Well, fun story. Went blue for it. I had to go blonde to put the blue in. The blue stayed in for 2 days. Then it went green. Then the green fell out. Then it was just blonde. And then I had to let it grow out like this much, so I could like shave it all off.
We have covered so much ground in just the first 20 minutes. We've asked one
all
question.
Of this happened in the interview as well, just to tie it back. I was in there for 4 years.
I can't believe an assessment centre for a whole day is reasonable.
No.
That seems ridiculous.
No, it was. I can't even remember anything. All I remember was thinking, don't throw up, try and answer the questions. And if that man, I'd say man, he was younger than me, I think. If he wants to be the leader, just let him be the leader. Like, I have no.
Ironed his pants to be here.
Yeah. I literally just thought, I've got nothing to offer anyone today. Like, nothing. Like, there was just nothing. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Pretty grim.
He seems like the kind of dude that would want to win firstly go on and then win The Apprentice.
It wouldn't surprise me if he has. It wouldn't surprise me.
Interesting.
And then probably
we'll have to
probably went and did like the US Apprentice, then the Australian Apprentice, went and did all of them. Just
that's actually his only skill, is being the apprentice.
With his 2D suit walking around.
Yeah, just loving assessment centres. Just televised or otherwise, he's there. What a legend.
I think that's how Steve at Bartlett made his money, by just doing assessment centres, and then he did a podcast about them. No, that's unfair. Callie, what's the second question?
Tell us about your worst boss.
So no names, because we said no names. You guys said no names as well, especially. Everyone was scared of them, which wasn't a great start. And I think they might have liked it. I think they might have liked that people were scared of them. And then they gave me some like good opportunities, which was really nice. But I was talking to someone about this earlier. Like they said to me, "Oh, I've literally got 5 minutes and I've got my next meeting." It's the person I was talking to this afternoon. and I'd said to them about this boss that would like walk up to him and be like, "Have you got 5 minutes?" And they would just stop and be like, "Is it actually 5 minutes?" Because you could end up in the little room with them for an hour. And they would never sit down. They would always walk around or walk up and down in like
nuts.
small rooms. It was very weird. It's very weird. But yeah, I think the walking around was the weirdest bit. But then they had moments of being lovely, but then moments of just being a bit much. But yeah, I think it was just I was lazy, so I sat down a lot. But yeah, the walk. I did wonder at one point. I was like, what if I get up and walk around as well? But then,
So I feel like the only thing worse than someone being terrible is being unpredictable and sometimes being nice. You can't plan for that.
no, absolutely not. No, you're just kind of always on edge, which wasn't nice. And like I said, like some really, it was what is the phrase? Like I can't think of the phrase, but like they would give with one hand, but then like not expect something with the other, but like would almost be like, "But you owe me now." Like they would blink, but it would always be like, "I'm not going to blink for 4 months." And you'd be like, you just be on edge. Just just a weird time of life.
How long were you there, or like under them?
Like 2 years.
That's a long time to put up with that.
Yeah, but like I say, you might have periods where it could be like 3 weeks where you're like everything's all right. Then it would just be one bad day, not your bad day, but it would soon be everyone else's
Yeah.
bad day. Yeah, bizarre, very bizarre.
Do you think that person's bad day were they bringing like a bad home day to work, or was it a bad work day just being then spilled out into everyone else?
I honestly really don't know. I don't know. Who knows? And that's the thing. You couldn't tell. Could just be. So, like as an example, there was one day where I was doing my like end of year review thing, and like most companies, your end of year had to be against the company objectives or like their values or whatever it was. Very much, and this was again not far off the assessment center time period, so I was obviously a lot younger. So I wasn't really in a particularly like heavy role. I was just sort of turning up. We spent an hour and a half writing my end of year, just me writing my bit, whilst they paced around doing it. I was like, I don't think anyone cares that much. Like I'm not the head of anything. I'm the head of making my own lunch. That's not far off my responsibility at that point. But it was it was a bit much. Just a bit much. A bit grim.
It sounds it's the when you mention them like walking around, I picture like almost for some reason in my head it's like a lion just like walking around the meeting room, and it's like this sort of like I think the two stories at the moment have got like kind of this alpha male quality about them, where it's like unnecessarily aggressive to dominate.
Neither one of them was me either. Like never the alpha. But
you're among friends here, Greg. You're among friends.
Good. I'm glad. But like I said, it wasn't like he was walking around and like wouldn't like just stop and then like slam his hands down. Like, it wasn't like anything weird like that. It would never be like an outburst, but just that kind of just constant moving or just going up and down.
That's like a horror film. That's like a horror film.
And that's like my wife hates horror films. Like can't even watch anything with if it says like mild peril. It's like no, I'm watching that. Don't be stupid. Whereas if it says mild peril, I'm like, can you just take everything else out and just rank up the peril to the point of like this is almost unwatchable? That's the kind of horror film I like. But then being in that room with just some guy walking, I'm like, fuck it, that's too much for me. Like, I don't mind it if it's happening to someone else on a TV, but I don't want to be in the room with them watching it happen. Like, nah, no, thank you. No.
Well, from unhinged bosses to probably something a little closer to home, as you said at the beginning of the podcast, you design learning experiences. And at some point in the 90s, they were called training experiences, and I would call them learning experiences. But the question is worded in such a way that you can, interpret how you want. But the question is, what was your worst training course? And because you've probably designed them in the past, it could be which is the worst one that you've designed. That's not really the question we're asking, but if you have one, great. I'm not going to ask you to self-reflect that much. But what's the worst training course you've been on? Probably would be there. But the question's open to interpretation.
So before we started, you said to me, "Do I have any questions about the questions?" And this was one of them, and it was that question. So he's got another beer now. I feel left out.
Sorry,
no,
I can't. I can try and digitally give
fill,
you.
you
No,
fill your boots, mate. And so all I'd written underneath that is that I'd made or been on.
Do you have answers for both?
I don't know if I've got an answer for one I've made. Not to say that everything I've made is absolute gold. Like I can give you actually one bit of. So I was making a prototype a short while ago, we'll say. It was before 2 circles. And the feedback I got from someone about the prototype was, they told me in person as well, which was lovely. Word for word, and I'll never forget this. If I could have thrown my laptop out the window, I would have. Word for word.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Crucially, just for marketing purposes, pre-2 circle design studio. That was before.
It was also like the early prototype. So I remember like doing something, but you know when you're making something going, oh, I think this, like most of this is fine, but there's this one little bit where I'm like, as long as they get used to that, everything else will be fine.
Yeah.
They've just got to get used to this bit. Whereas in theory, it should be fluid. There shouldn't be any like friction. But I'd left this one bit and being like, oh, it's going to take me either too long to fix it to test everything else.
It's a prototype.
Exactly. So I was like, they probably won't even notice. And then everyone noticed. And then that feedback was literally, and it was like, it was like this, like if I could have thrown my laptop like this, it was really serious. And the hand was like this. It wasn't like the politician hand. It was just this, like, if you do that to me again, we're going to have serious words. And I was like, cool. And it was someone I worked with a lot who I love and is great. But they really, really hated it.
And that's why product design for learning is incredibly important, because you get rid of that stuff early on. Nice.
Yes. Actually, to be fair, it went on to be a really good product eventually, but yeah, the rage from a number of other people about that particular thing. And it was something really simple like navigation. It was something to do with how you did a particular key feature of the program. Like you were doing stuff in person, you were logging stuff online. And just the collective rage.
There's 2 things that I've been sent in my time that I think you probably like. There is one which they got a group of engineers together and they had the task to try and create the most awful volume control ever. So I don't know if you can look at that and see all the submissions, because they're live as well. Like you can play with them. You're like, why would anyone create a volume control like this? But that was the objective.
Brilliant.
The other one, and I can't remember what it was. It's just highlight accessibility. It was like the most difficult form in the world. And so like the cancel button was green, the OK button was red, and then all these kind of things. And they kept changing throughout the form. I think you'd particularly like that, because in both those situations, they made me want to throw my laptop out the window.
Is the volume control one just a great big Tom DeLonge increase button? As in you can just more of him and less of everyone else. Just up. Oh, it's just, they're not bad. It's just him. It's just his voice.
We didn't even provoke this outburst. This was completely unprovoked. You've really. Poor Tom DeLonge. What's he going to do?
He's fine. I'm not worried about him. He's all right. He's having a nice day wherever he is.
I'm very hot and cold with this Blink 182, 182, 182 subject. It's very difficult. Okay, so tell us about the worst training course you've been on then, because clearly...
been on?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't know if I do have an answer for that off the top of my head. I
That's cool if
honestly,
you don't. That was,
I
I mean,
honestly
what you
couldn't tell you.
described was pretty good.
Probably that one from the first question, which was more of an interview, but like it felt like an obstacle course. So that, yeah, not for me. Anything with a role play. There you go. Blanket. Anything with a role play. Imagine I'm me. Just do that. I don't play a character.
To reference Kirsty again, she was supposed to write a song. How does that rank compared to role play?
No. I just would go mute. Like, do you guys watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yes.
You know when Mac tries to escort Charlie out of the bar and he just goes limp. I would just do that. They were like, "Can you write a song?" I would just go a complete dead weight and be like, just refuse to pretend that I've heard them. I wouldn't move. I'd go dead weight. You can't drag me out of the room for being in nothing. I'm not doing it. No. Same with role plays. No, thank you. No.
So I once had a training course. I haven't talked about this yet. It was for like active shooter drills. Do you guys have those?
Oh, geez. No.
But it was like what you described with your film reference about like, don't put me in that scenario, but I'll watch anything. It was like their goal was to try to put you into the drill where it's like high intensity. Man. It like I had to do it 3 times every single year that I was with this company.
3 times and then finally
and then finally the 4th time someone must have complained loudly enough where they like toned it down a lot and had a new training. But it was literally like someone bursting into the office where you are and like wielding things around. It was intense in the worst way. Like I don't really care that much. I kind of forget about training courses for the most part, but that one I like actively did not want to experience and wanted to forget about.
That's like for a fire drill, just setting the building on fire. Go, there you go. Figure it out.
Yeah. So I would love to know your professional opinions on this training course.
I think what Toby was actually describing is arson, not a fire drill. But I don't know. It's an awful thing if it does happen. The fire drill or the active shooter, like an actual fire or an actual shooter. I don't know, but like, do you need to do that to tell people what to do? Like, or do you need to just go, if this happens, you do these things? Like, it's a fairly serious thing where you'd probably remember it. Like, I know what to do in a fire drill. Even though everyone rolls their eyes when it's a fire drill, you still like go out the fire exit, walk downstairs. You know, do you know what I mean? I don't know,
but isn't it going to be a bit like what's the phrase? The Boy Who Cried Wolf. That like you have 3 times a year where like this pretend active shooter comes in. That if an actual active shooter comes in,
it was once a year, 3 times.
Once a year.
3.
Oh, okay, right.
Separate cycles.
But even still, like you're like, oh, it must be that time of year again. And then if it was genuine, then you're like, oh, we did. And it's the same way because I don't know if it's the same in the US, but UK fire alarms are almost pointless because the first thing everyone does, everyone looks around and goes, anyone else moving? No. All right, we'll just carry on then until we smell something or someone shouts.
Yeah. Or some joker like touches the floor and be like, no, it's fine. It's like, probably. But what if it isn't? Like, but then, I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about an actor running in pretending to shoot everyone.
Did they have a shooter? Have a gun?
No, like it was a video. It was a video, but they just like cranked up the intensity on everything. So like there was really loud music and it's like flashing lights, and it was just like they tried to make a horror film. But it got to the point where the 4th time when I didn't actually have to experience it, it was like Elf when he's testing all of the Jack in the Boxes and he's just like waiting for it. Like the whole training series was like, I'm just waiting for this active shooter video again. And then it never did.
Was it the same video every time?
Same video. And then you had like questions, right? Because it's a training, so you have to answer the questions about how you're going to behave.
I like the training.
Thing is, if you've seen it, like same with a film, like you know what happens at the end.
Yeah.
And also it's not real. So I ask this question when I do like talks and stuff, and ask people, would you use a bad product or service a second time? And the answer is always obviously no. Why would I? But then I also wouldn't watch a bad film twice.
Hmm.
Like, I'm never going to watch. I'm trying to think of a really bad film now. Just any bad film. I'm not going to watch The Holiday a second time. I don't care if you love it. It's rubbish. Not watching it a second time.
You haven't listened to our previous episodes where we had loads of people like phoning in saying how much they love The Holiday, and Jack Black and Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet. Like they just said the chemistry on screen was fantastic. So I think you're going to annoy a lot of Work Sucks listeners.
Okay, give my number. I'll wait up for the calls, and I will tell each and every one of you. Anyway, I'm not watching a bad film twice. But then if you have to watch it every year because someone's making sure that you've done it or not done it, just seems a little bit like
torture.
What? Yeah, but then also like, what do you expect to happen differently? Like, because thankfully the real thing hasn't happened, so we can't test if this has done anything. Nor do we want to find out the hard way. But just making me watch the same video again once a year.
The whole cycle was the same. So it's the epitome of just checking the box, and we don't care if you actually learned anything, because you get an 80% and you pass, or you get a 79% and you just have to click through it really quickly and take all the questions again. It was I didn't learn anything anytime.
That sounds rubbish.
I take it that's not what you designed.
No, not for me. Not for me. Never actually been asked to create an active shooter training, but
Must be a US thing.
I don't know what I'd do for that. Toby?
What would I do for active shooter training? And you're just going to put me on the spot and ask me that. You're like, yeah, this is what I had to do in agency land, was come up with a proposal out in 5 minutes and then pitch it. Active shooter training. Well, Callie, first I need, what are the learning objectives? What am I? What's one key behavior I need to do in that situation? Like, do I need to run away? Do I need to shout for help? Do I need to run at them and try and grab the gun out of their hand? What do I do? Give me one action. The training
clearly
didn't
off
work.
Of what I actually learned, I couldn't tell you, but I think go and hide.
Go and hide. Okay, well, then I just organize a big game of hide and seek.
And seek? You don't have to find you.
No, because then whoever is found last wins active shooter training, and then they get a big trophy of a.
They get to live.
They get to everyone. We are not. Do not. Please don't send me down this like opening a door to a very dark place. I shouldn't do it. But no, I think the person who wins corporate hide and seek gets a trophy, and then you play it again the next year, and then you get a trophy, and then we all become really good at hiding.
I think also just do hide and seek for like office morale. Just in general. Whole
afternoon.
Just yeah.
Oh,
once a month.
Because whoever hides the longest gets the most time off work, right? Because like you're just like, well, you didn't find me, and I took the whole day off essentially.
Yeah.
Where were you?
Unless they count. That doesn't count. Did you come in? No, I was hiding. I was away on Teams. That doesn't count.
Okay, well, you've got to be clear with the rules, Greg.
Sorry for derailing it so far. So would love to know about your worst first day.
I did write some notes for this actually. So it was my so I spent 4 to 5, I can't remember exactly, 4-ish hours picking up a laptop that was still being set up when I turned up. But then they'd emailed my password to my manager that was in a different country that I was going to that night. So I couldn't use the laptop all day because I couldn't email them because I couldn't log into the laptop, and they physically weren't in the same country as me to walk around and go, could you just tell me what my laptop password is? So flew to this country, and then I even Googled the distance. So it's like 20 miles from the airport to where the hotel was, and it was maybe 10:30 at night. So I was like, I'll just jump in a cab, thinking that's fine. The cab was £250. And then walked into the office the next day. It's like, how was your trip? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, it's fine. Thanks for thanks for arranging everything. Said, oh, I got in late last night, so I got a cab. And then their face just dropped and was like, you took a taxi? I was like, yeah, I took a taxi. Well, it's 10:30. Like, I had to get up early, first day, blah, blah, blah. They were like, the train is only £15. And I was like, I'm aware of that now. And it took the same amount of time. So somehow they still said, look, we'll let you off this once. But it was a bad start. But then it ended up being really good. Like, my boss was lovely. Everything else was fine after that. But just that initial like panic of sitting there before you've even physically met your boss on your first day, holding a receipt for nearly 300 quid to go, you're going to give me this back, right? Like, please? Like, it was a bad start. But yeah. And no, I didn't do anything on the first day. I just sat in another office with a computer that I couldn't use. Cool first day.
That you flew for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
They didn't have
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
They didn't like figure out this is what you should be doing if you're gonna fly here.
No, I think they just assumed because the train station is joined onto the airport, so it was. I think they just assumed, oh, you come out, and then before you leave, you just follow the sign for trains and just jump on a train. But I was like, oh, you just come out and jump in a cab because I was thinking it's only like down the road, sort of.
Yeah.
And it was late. Yeah, I did make that mistake again. Like, and then everyone else that I told that first day when I was meeting them, like, oh, what time did you get in last night? Blah blah. So I got a cab. Everyone did the exact same thing. It was like I killed someone. I was like, I didn't. I just got in a taxi. Like, that's all I did. Like, everyone's fine. Like, it's okay. But yeah, bad first impression maybe.
But that's almost terrible design, right? That everybody knew this was an issue, but no one had put any effort into like even just communicating that fact that, hey,
Yeah.
if you're going to X place, then just so you know, don't take a taxi. It's super expensive. Like, it's not that we were, it just feels like you are being set up to fail there. And that's what makes that first day really sucky.
I think you're the first one who's had a 2-day worst first day, right? Like the day waiting for the laptop and the flight and the taxi, and then the actual first day that was entirely pointless.
Yeah. It was like after maybe like the first couple of hours on the second day, it was okay. But there'd just be those little moments of like when you meet someone new and they could tell that you weren't from like where they were from, like around the office. Like, oh, what time did you get in? And you tell them the story, and then as soon as you mention the word taxi, it just kind of brings you back to the first day, and you're like, oh, yeah, it's me.
Harsh.
I'm that guy. Like,
that's also an unreasonably expensive taxi. Like,
yeah. And then I just thought the guy was being really polite, but he gave me his card and was like, oh, whilst you're in town, like, call me any time, and I will come and get you. And I was thinking, I bet you will. For what? A £400 trip to go 2 minutes down the road? Why not? Let's, like, I have no idea how he was working his prices out, but somehow went, yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll pay for that. But like,
well, he couldn't have been the only one, or they wouldn't have known that it was a terrible thing to do.
Well, this is the thing, yeah. And then I was going back and forth there quite a bit, and then I don't even know why I didn't think about this first time. I got an Uber like 6 months later in the same place, and it was like 30 quid.
Oh,
I was like, yeah, absolutely mad. Everything was genuinely my fault. Like, should have come out and gone, I'll get an Uber or a train. Who walks out and jumps straight in a taxi? Idiot. This guy.
The next question is, what's the worst thing you've ever been asked to do at work? And it feels like the answer to that question is take a taxi.
Travel.
Travel. But what's the worst thing you've been asked to do at work?
I put as a fun comment, work.
That's a very good answer.
It's a terrible answer, but I did put a serious
No, I think
answer
it's a good answer because no one's actually made that like link yet. And I think, some of the work I've had to do, I applaud. I'm not saying it's entertaining, far from it, but it's a very good answer.
Oh, it started off so well, then I kind of bombed. It was like, it's fine, but I hate your answer. I was like, great. No, I did write a serious answer down. I was I was asked to support on a program, and I had to word this so carefully to not say anything I shouldn't say. But basically, it wasn't my area of expertise, and I'd flagged that up front and said it's also not my area of interest. Like, it's not like I know about it but don't work in it. Like, I don't really care about it, nor do I work in that area. So, and there was a consultancy, not one of the big four, just another one, um, that was working on it already. And then it became very apparent very quickly that they must have been getting paid a fortune for the amount of different people that were joining these calls and the amount of like material they were making. And then the thing that was, sorry, to answer your question about the worst thing, was I was asked to not input. So when I'd flagged separately a few times, like, I think we could like simplify this, or I've got a couple of questions because this, and this doesn't make sense, but you want to do them in that order. Not individually, they make no sense. Together, still makes no sense. So you've just made it up, or they've just made it up, and then gone, that's £9 gazillion, please. And then somehow everyone's gone, yes. None of that was okay to ask those questions. And then it got to the point of being like, and I wasn't in a junior role at this point. Like, it wasn't like, oh, he's the new guy. Like, I'd been around a bit. I knew what things were. And then when I voiced it with the consultancy, even they were like, no, we listened to this person, not to you. And it reminded me of, I don't even know if this is a real story, but did you hear the story of the guy that got fired from Apple for speaking at a conference?
No.
I don't know if this is like an urban myth, but apparently some guy accepted an award for something and said, oh yeah, I work at Apple and blah, blah. He got back to work and got fired. And apparently the line was, Apple speaks with one voice and it isn't yours, which I thought was killer. I'd love to say that to someone. If I don't like them, not just anyone. I don't know if it's a true story or not, but I've heard it a few different times. And I'm like, maybe it is true. But it felt like that. It felt like you're not the voice that should be heard. And I was a bit like, then why am I here? Why am I working on this? I didn't even ask to work on this. That's like a 4-month window of time just being like, I'm not even going to bother preparing for these meetings because it's like everyone's just making up their own language for the next 2 hours. They're going to just draw some stuff 2 minutes before a meeting and then go, cool. Like, it genuinely felt like I was being trolled for 4 months. Like, it was the most bizarre window of time ever. And then being asked to not input. Like, just listen because you'll get it soon. I'm like, I think I might be the only one that gets it. Or me and this other guy who also went, just don't bother. Like, yeah, it was nuts. Absolutely nuts.
That feels like just like another unwritten rule. Like, hey, by the way, I'm not saying this is the same organization, but like, what we advise here is 2 things: don't take taxis and don't input to anything. And you're like, then what do you want me to do? You want me to not travel anywhere and not provide any input?
Yeah,
fine.
I mean, I feel like I'm being very vague, but if I give any detail, you'll probably figure out who it was and what it was, or they will at least.
That's fine. Like, I think you provided enough context here. Like, we get it. Like, there's no additional context needed. But I think that there are a few times when we've recorded this podcast where a few people kind of say something so like disarming. The one I always refer to is Holly Norton. Like, one of the questions we'll ask you in a moment is, well, the next question is, what is an easy change that would have made a huge difference at work? And she just said, like, saying thank you.
Yeah,
that would make a huge difference at work. And to your point, like, what is the 2 answers that you gave? What's the worst thing you've been asked to do? Work, which is a great answer, but also like actively not being asked to contribute or input is nuts. But like, so symptomatic of the ecosystem of most workplaces, unfortunately.
Yeah, and weirdly, like, so I thought about the answer to your next question as well, actually, because I was writing the one before. So even when I was talking to some other people that weren't involved in the thing I was being asked to help on, and I'd show them things, be like, last week, this was what was presented. And I would just give them that context. And even like some more cleverer people than me would look through it and be like, this makes no sense. Like, within seconds, they'd be like, I can exactly spot where this is making complete nonsense or making zero sense. But okay, well, it's not just me. And I'm like, well, here's the context. Here's what was said around, whatever nonsense visual was presented. And they were like, no, still nothing. Like, this is a waste of everyone's time. And I'm like, uh-huh. But I just thought, at least it's not just me. And to be fair, in that window of time, that was the only thing I'd worked on that was bonkers. But yeah, but just so bonkers. It was almost unbelievable. Yeah. Nuts.
It's almost to the point like, why hire you?
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, it's just like, okay, so I'm just here to make up the numbers, or what do you want from me?
Yeah, it was very strange. It was very strange. But like I said, the question you asked about the easy change was simply because of that answer I gave before. I'd thought about other bosses that I'd had, and it was mainly if they were a partner rather than like a boss. Being like, so there was one particular boss who, me and a pal that were working for him at the time, he said, "Oh, I need some feedback for the end of the year," and we were both like, apart from going, he's pretty cool. Like, don't really have anything. I have nothing bad to say, basically. And then me and my pal, we went for lunch one day and we were like, we can't just say good things because someone's going to think he's either paid us or whatever. And we genuinely couldn't think of anything bad. He's genuinely a great guy. But one thing I did write down to him was saying, look, I can't think of a bad thing, but I haven't seen any work you've done. Like, because you're managing things at here, I've never seen anything you've done, like the doing. So can you either show me something old you've done, or if you've got time, could you work on something and show me what you can do? And he did. And I was like, oh, he can walk the walk and talk the talk, which was great. And yeah, that was really nice. That was really nice. Rather than someone just going, no, because he could have just gone, no, and don't ask me again. No, he was great. That was a lovely change.
I love that. I think that's again. There's some moments on this podcast where I am left speechless because I'm just go, yeah, like why? Well, the question I usually ask about that one is like, well, why isn't it like that? Why do we build up? Especially the feedback one is so good, right? that you kind of say, provide some feedback. Well, I've got nothing to say other than he's a cool guy, and it's there's two kind of thought process there. Either you've got to find something that they have to improve or build upon. There has to be this feedback point where like it can never be just praise. And I think that should be equally valid, right? To Holly's point from a previous podcast, just saying thank you and acknowledging awesome stuff. That is enough. You don't have to be hypercritical, and there will be some development points that you may have missed. But in that moment, if you can't think of any, you can't think of any. Like, no, I suppose that's why performance reviews happening annually or 6 monthly doesn't really make sense, because it's only relevant at that single moment in time rather than like a genuine understanding of that individual and what they do. And you've got that deeper understanding by asking that question. And like, you just show me some stuff because I'd love to know more about you. And that we end up with these incredibly transactional moments at work which don't get you to that point, because it's like, well, to what end? Why do you want me to show you stuff? Why? Like, I've got stuff to do. You got stuff to do. Why are we just chit-chatting about stuff I did in the past? We got stuff to do. And it's like, oh, no, it's culture building.
Exactly. But it was like, for me, it was more around, I'm more than happy for someone to tell me things like I could have thrown my laptop out the window. Like, when it's the right time to say that, ideally at the early part, please tell me, because I don't want 1,000 people trying to throw. I'd rather 5 try to do that. At least I can understand that then. But then I guess when it's especially if you're working like a creative role and you've got like a boss or a manager or whatever, somebody say like guiding you, or there's obviously going to be things that they are maybe more aware of than you are because of hierarchy and all the rest of it. But then there is a point when you start to question, like, are you just saying what you think you should say, or are you doing this from experience? Which is why luckily the only thing I could think of was like, I've got to say something. And I just he could have very easily just gone, oh, it's really old work, so I can't show you, I don't have any more, or no, I'm just too busy. But luckily he did, and it was really nice to kind of see that it made anything he'd said beyond that just held a lot more weight, more than it already did. Because I was like, oh, he actually does know what he's talking about. Not that I questioned it, but it was more, I can see how he gets from here to here to here, and thought process and all those kind of things, which was yeah, he's a good egg.
Trust is earned, not given. Would be my thing there.
Is that a David Brent thing?
Oh God, is it?
I was waiting for you to do this.
One of my, I got a very slight quick tangent. One of my good friends got married, and he was giving his groom speech, and he did that. He's like, I remember when me and, I can say the name, it's fine. I remember when me and Amy first got together. And you're like, dude, what have you done? And he didn't write it. He didn't prepare that. He just did it in the moment. And you could just see him shrink inside himself, that he just like essentially told everyone this was the moment when they got together in front of friends, family, stood next to the,
At least he recognized it. Like, I'd be more concerned if he just went on and had no idea.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's the quickest marriage ever. It's like 40 minutes, like done.
I don't actually think they're together anymore. I don't really talk to him anymore, but not because of that. That wasn't.
It's 100% because of that. 100%.
It came up in a heated argument, and another thing. Stop doing this. We're done.
There's nothing else you could have done worse than that. That's it. That's just how human life is.
It's the worst thing could have done. Talking of really terrible things that might give you a recurring nightmare, do you have a recurring nightmare because of a bad work experience?
Not really. Like, not really. Like,
that's nice.
There's not like there's things I wouldn't want to do again, but I don't think there's anything where it's like I don't kind of wake up thinking about it. I didn't sleepwalk, but I went through a period of quite stressful, like a project in a previous job, and we were in our old house, so we came out of our bedroom. There's literally maybe like this much floor, then it was just stairs, like quite steep stairs, and I just fell down the stairs sleepwalking. And like I say, first and only time I've done it, didn't end well. Straight downstairs. So my wife came running down, and when I was kind of coming to, seconds later, it wasn't like I was out for hours or anything. I was babbling about work. So I've always been a little bit more conscious of trying not to let it get to that point. So I don't really kind of, I guess like when you're running a business, you stress about the usual things like your tax bill or that project that may or may not happen, or even taking too much on or not having enough on, all the usual bits of running a business. But in terms of just work in general, I think because of that, I don't tend to stop myself from letting it get there, because could have been way worse, but luckily it was just a bit of a sore shoulder for a few days. But yeah, pretty grim.
Yeah. I mean, that does remind me that I used to deliver workshops on a regular basis, like 4 or 5 days a week. And they would generally be one of 6 or 7 different workshops for Curry's PC World. So computers, washing machines, blah, blah, blah. And the night before delivering a new training course or workshop, I would deliver it in my sleep. It used to drive my wife absolutely mad.
Really?
Yeah.
Only before a new one?
Sorry?
Only before a new one?
Yeah, because if I knew the content, then it was fine. I was running through the content in my head in my sleep, because it's like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Once I'd done it 2 or 3 times, it's like, I can do. Ironically, I could do it in my sleep, but clearly I could do it in my sleep from the new one. So it was like, thank you.
Well done. Well done. Excellent.
But I like and dislike the element that if you're going through that thing where you're talking, like babbling about work, then your mind should be at rest. Yes, not a recurring nightmare, but really something that your brain is going through this trauma or stress. I imagine, I'm not a psychologist, that is priming you to kind of hold on to that and do it in your sleep,
Yeah.
which is probably not meaning you're not getting proper rest, I imagine.
Like I keep seeing like targeted ads at the moment for like sleep supplement things, like to get like a full night's sleep. Or there's this one that I watched the whole video but I didn't click on the thing. But it was like it's basically two people were talking about, oh, I'm really rested and I went to bed at 3 a.m. And this other lady was like, oh, I went to bed at 10:30 and I feel exhausted. And I was like, this sounds like some sort of weird pyramid scheme cult thing, because I've gone to bed at 3 a.m. and woken up at 6 and I felt tired. So how is this happening? But apparently it's this thing where like they ask you a load of questions and then they tell you, whoever they are, this company, when you're based on your physiology, your ideal bedtime. So
That's
it's different
fun.
but it's different, but it's per person. So it could be that we all do the same job, get up at the same time, or have to be at work at the same time. But it could be that we all go to bed anywhere between, I don't know, 9 p.m. and 4 a.m. or whatever it is they suggest. But like, it felt a bit weird, as in like I don't know. I didn't sleep well anyway. But I just thought, if someone tells me to go to bed even later, I can't imagine I'm gonna wake up and go, just the 40 minutes for me. I feel great. Let's get to it. Like it's just not gonna happen.
But could you imagine if you did? You'd have hacked life. You could be on stage saying, "Hey, I learned the 40-minute overnight sleep. It has actually made me the billionaire that I am today."
I'd have to buy the trademark off Stephen Bartlett, because that feels like something he would say.
Yeah, good point. Don't do it.
But also, like, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this. I feel like you just need to have a good sleep and not be thinking about work. So like I work with a lot of European and overseas people. So luckily, because of where they are, they're always like an hour or two ahead of me, or 3 hours ahead of me. So if I say, oh, it's 4 o'clock my time, but it's like 5, 6, 7 their time by the time I'm finished, technically I've got no one else I need to talk to for the rest of the day, work-wise. So because I'm usually up early because I can't sleep properly, I can start a little bit earlier, but then my day can hopefully finish by like 4-ish. So I kind of feel like that's my cut-off, like, right, that's my evening now. And I try and have it's sort of between 4 and 5. I think it's fairly normal. So I'd be like, that's my day finishing now. I try not to work like, some people like love working at night, being like, oh, I started at 9 this morning, I'm going to finish at 11 tonight. It's like, why? That's mental. That's completely bonkers. Like, stop doing that. You're not doing anyone any favors.
Some organizations I've worked with, that is literally oh yeah, that's how we work, that's how we do it here.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's not how anyone's contracted, but so everyone just does it and accepts it, and like, oh yeah, we all love it. And you're like, so it must be some people that don't love it, because I certainly don't, and you all seem really happy about this. But
yeah,
I think you just feel really important, right? Like you're very self-important at that point.
Yeah. Did you ever work with those people that like you'd come in the next day and they'd be like, oh, I didn't leave the office till like 8, 9, 10 o'clock? You'd be like, why? Just go home.
Oh, we all did that.
Yeah, I had a boss like that like, it was like it was like playing chicken, right? So the boss, we had a bank of desks, there was like 6 of us, and it would be like, well, no one leaves before the boss leaves. And then it would get to like 9, half 9 at night, and you're like, well, one of us is going to leave at some point, even if he doesn't. And then as soon as one of us usually said we're going to leave, he goes, yeah, we should probably all go. And then he'd follow us out. And then you're like, oh, so the boss is waiting for us to tell him when to leave? Because I don't know what this dynamic is, and it's very confusing.
2 p.m. is when you should have got up and left. Just straight out the door.
Gosh, yeah, I went the other way and worked with an international team, and I would get up at like 3 a.m. and start working to try and get ahead of it. Yeah, it was awful. But then they would see that they were getting emails from me at 3 a.m. my time, and then they would call me like, I'm in an apartment, I can't talk to you on the phone.
Yeah.
At 3:30 in the morning. It was nuts.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a middle ground between like starting too early and working too late, but then But there's a guy I work with that he takes like mid-afternoon to like mid-evening off, but then I guess like between like now like 9ish till midnight, that's like his time. Like everyone that he lives with is in bed, like his daughter's in bed, and everyone's like stopped moving and making noise. He's like, now's my time. But I don't think he's taking calls. I think that'd be weird, but I guess it's what works for most people. But yeah,
that's true. But it's when it's expected on someone, I guess, and it's like, well, then that's not fair. Shouldn't be an expectation.
No.
It should be like a working rhythm that works for everyone.
Or working on holiday. No.
Oh, they're so just like, oh well, I just needed to. It's like, well, you can just need to, but do not expect anyone else to, because that is totally unfair. And talking of, I suppose, different expectations from different people at work, Callie, sorry, I've stolen the ball from you, but co-workers from hell, like, who are the worst people you've worked with? Or that one worst person?
I don't think I've had like someone that bad. I don't think so. There's been people that I've not got on with, but like you can't get on with everyone. But no one where I've been like, if they don't come in, it's going to be the best. It's Christmas. Like it's not been that bad. But I guess just like
not even the pacing boss.
He was that when he paced, that was bad. I
guess that's a boss though, not a coworker. So
yeah. And if we're going to include bosses, that guy. But I guess I don't know. I've worked at home maybe like since I've been doing 2 circles, so nearly 2 and a bit years. The thought of being in a loud office now. Also, I think I'm getting older, and I'm getting like aggy about silly things. If there was like a loud office, I think that would bother me. They could be the nicest people, but if they're loud, no thanks. No, that would bother me.
What? I feel like this is then like a predictive, like the future's like co-workers from hell warning, rather than a retrospective. It's just like, just don't be loud near me when I'm trying to work.
But like really loud,
like sales guy loud.
Yeah, like, I don't mind noise, like people living their life. That's fine.
That's awfully good of you.
Do you know what I mean? I'm all about the people, Toby. But like when it's so like when it's too much, like work isn't that fun. Like unless you work at Disneyland, an office in London is not that exciting. Doesn't need to be that loud. No.
Can I? Yes. So here you go. Riddle me this. I worked in a HR team a good while ago now, and at Halloween they decided under one bank of desks everyone in HR could carve a pumpkin. And I was like, I don't want to carve a pumpkin at work. It's the last thing. I don't want to carve a pumpkin at home. Why would I want to do it at work? And everyone was just like, they were having the people elected to do it having a time of their lives. There was Halloween music going. They were carving pumpkins. Pith and all sorts of gunk were just flying everywhere. And I was like, I don't want to be the person like, I'm trying to work, but like, I am trying to work, and this is really off-putting. I don't want to stop anyone's fun, but like, you're having fun at the expense of my sanity.
I question the HR team that's giving people knives and having them push them through resistant objects.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like the worst idea.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody got hurt. Maybe we've now gone from the kind of shooter awareness training or whatever it was at the beginning. That there's some form of knife awareness training, and they kind of were doing it Halloween themed. Like, what would you do if someone came to the office with a knife? Oh, we just carve pumpkins and have a bloody good time.
Literally a bloody good time.
Oh, very good. If we had a good radio bell, that would be run right there, because that was superb.
But do you know what? Just on the loud thing, sorry. I remember getting an email from someone that sat about 20 yards away because somebody in my team was being quite loud. Just one person. And they emailed, and I looked over at them to be like, look back at me, please. Because I'm not going to email you. I can see you. I can see if you're blinking or not. You're that close. And they wouldn't look. They just looked down the whole time. They wouldn't look up. I could just see this from like here upwards. And then So I wrote back to them, I was like, I'm very sorry, I will ask them to keep it down. And at the time, I was thinking, that is so petty. Whereas now, I'm really worried that if I end up back in an office again, I'll be literally going, who is that? Can I get their email address? Can you? And I'll email them, like, can you please shut up? Like, it won't be, please, could you kindly keep it out? It'll be, just shut up. Like, no, thank you.
But at least you're talking about doing it directly. You're not saying this other person, you tell them to be quiet.
Oh, yeah. To be fair, yeah, I will literally just tell them straight out. I might even go round, leave a note on their desk.
My friend really fancies you. It's all a bit like being at school, isn't it?
Oh, God, I'm going to be awful to work with if I'm in. I'll apologise to anyone now. If I'm ever in an office again, I'm sorry. Just a blanket.
So when Two Circles Design Studio opens its first office in the location where taxis are super expensive, because obviously that's where you're going to open your first office.
Yeah.
There are going to be some very hard and fast rules on the wall. They're not company values; they're rules. That's how we
absolutely
live by.
Yeah, absolutely.
It says Greg's rules.
There's only two.
Yeah, there will only be two at the beginning, but I seem to get the vibe that you might add to them in
there will be space for more. Yeah.
Add your own.
Yeah.
Greg rules and Greg's rules. There you go. That's good. Callie, we got one more question.
Yeah, bonus question. So a little bit of a qualifier with this. It can't be something that you did once. So if you just went to that office for training, first day, one time, doesn't qualify. But what is your longest consistent commute?
3 hours each way.
I think we have a winner so far. That we've not hit the 3 hour threshold. This is the first time. Oh, Kelly was flying to somewhere.
But Dan Riley was flying to New York from Minneapolis. Remember, every 2 weeks.
Oh, we did the math, didn't we? On that, that was extortionate. But 3 hours a day is long. So, what time are you getting up?
So it was just after COVID, and we were told to go back in the office twice a week. Then I did the whole sums on the train ticket. That was silly. So I was due to switch my car up anyway. So I bought a small electric car, thinking I can drive in and out of London without paying congestion charge and blah, blah, blah. Be in my own space, all the rest of it. So I would leave at just after 5, and it would take me just over an hour to get there. So only like 70 minutes there, which was fine because the roads were fairly empty. But then on the way home, I would finish at 4 because that's my time. And then I would get home anywhere between 6 and 7, nearer 7. 3 hours.
Nope.
Just but then the thought of the pettiness of like, I'm not getting on that train and paying what felt like it wasn't, but like what felt like £600 a week to sit on a train. And I was like, no, I'm going to sit in my car with what feels like everyone else on earth, just driving the exact same route home for twice a week for like 2 years. It was long. It was really long. I went to go and scratch my eye through my glasses.
I was about to say, there is no way you got away with that on a video podcast where you went to each eye.
I'm a new glasses wearer, so I either forget to put them on or I forget I'm wearing them.
That was incredible. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that before.
But yeah, I do apologise.
You've got nothing to apologise for. But it gave us a laugh.
But yeah, so 4 to 5 hours round trip a day, roughly.
Yeesh.
And the best one, I'd parked at the Barbican one day, and went to get it was on like a winter's evening. And bear in mind, this car park, I don't know why, but mine was definitely not one of the nicer cars there. Like there was some really, really lovely cars in this car park for no reason. Just I guess a central London car park. Mine was the only one that had its back window smashed, where someone had tried to steal it. Maybe because it would made it look like the easiest one to steal. They clearly gave up. So I had to drive my 2.5, 3 hour journey home in winter with like turbo air conditioning. So I basically had my hood up, driving a car with no back window that was still like smashed. It was like a cartoon like smash. Didn't get stopped by anyone. I looked like I'd stolen it. Like not one person in the 3 hours on the way home went, that guy looks like he's nicked it. No one seemed to care. But it was pretty cold. That was the worst one to get home from.
Oh, I think you've got the longest and coldest car-based commute for sure.
Win.
Wow. Congratulations. The trophy is in the post, along with that hide and seek award that you'll win one day when you open your own office.
Very quiet hide and seek, I would hope.
Callie, we're at the end of the questions. How do you sum up the career of one Greg Arthur in a moment or two?
This one's harder. I think it's harder
Right.
because everything is you were so pragmatic about it all, where I think you're just genuinely someone who kind of can go with the flow and make the best out of a rough situation, including skinny ties.
I think Toby's taking the skinny ties.
Let's not bring the skinny ties back. Let's keep heaping love on Greg because pragmatism is the word. I think that you're the first person that has like such a pragmatism and such a level head in all of these situations that nothing it would appear like nothing phases you, but you're acutely aware of like the human condition and that so many of us live our lives differently with different wants and needs and all that kind of stuff, and you're so appreciative of it and so curious about other people and how they think and feel that it just ends up with this beautiful pragmatism, which is a phrase I've never said before. But
that's very kind of you to say. I feel like you guys aren't dissimilar though. I feel like a lot of people in our industry kind of have...
you should hear some of our one-on-one conversations, mate.
I think
it's all an illusion.
It feels like it's very it's very open. And I guess like I was talking to someone else about this the other day on my podcast. We were talking about there's almost two different types of people in our industry. There's people that kind of get it and want to do good things and can almost like, for want of a better phrase, like see the matrix, as in like this is how to do things or should be doing things. And then there's, I'm not going to say everyone else, but there is potentially a bigger population of other people. But it does feel like the what's the word? Like the characteristics of both groups are very different. Like the people that are very loud are in that group. The people that I'd emailed to say shush are over there. And then the people I'd want to spend time with are over there. That's where you guys are. You're over there.
Oh,
that's the name of your business book that you'll release one day. I'm going to email you to say shush, or this is an email to say shush. That's the title of your book.
Forward by Stephen Bartlett.
I think it's just an email on the front and then just shh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Nice.
100%. Send to all.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Huel. Huel and Heights. I keep getting Heights. Heights is like a supplement thing, and it's like, well, if Stephen Bartlett and Jake Humphrey, very UK references here, sorry, Callie, but if they take it, then every man of about 40 must be wanting to take it. Turns out no, because they're very, very expensive. And usually that's where I do the joke on this podcast, that this podcast is sponsored by Huel and Heights. But they are most definitely not sponsored by Huel and Heights because we're cool. I think just to tie it all back together, though, in a nice little bow, is I think the three of us are connected by a love and passion for product design thinking, human-centered design. And you have to have that curiosity and that empathy and understand how you can turn, the pains and gains of users into different behaviors and mindsets. And therefore, you've got to appreciate that what works for one person won't work for another by different personas and all this kind of stuff. So maybe that's just kind of lived and breathed through our work, that attitude. The reason why we do that is because we have that innate curiosity and empathy, I think.
I like that.
I'd agree with that.
Greg, you're a very cool dude. Thank you so much.
Thank you both. It's very kind of you.
Welcome. If people listen to this and went, wow, I want to hear more from Greg, where should they find you and follow you?
They can find me on LinkedIn, obviously. It's where everyone hangs out. And then at 2 Circles Studio, so there's a double S between circles and studio.com. And that is it. Just those two places. That's where I am. I was going to say I've done all my talking things for this year. So yeah, no more talking things for the moment. This is the last one. And the podcast, Spotify. It's only on Spotify actually. It used to be on YouTube, but nobody was watching it, so it's just on Spotify.
Oh, no one watched it on YouTube. That's
No, I think the highest episode got 6 views.
better than many of
Yes,
mine.
that's 2 hands.
Yeah.
That is just.
Yeah.
But it's doing all right on Spotify. People are listening, but yeah, nobody wants to watch. I quite like watching a podcast.
I do too. But I famously, and then we'll let you go. Is you had your long? I can't remember how long your longest podcast episode was.
Oh man, I appreciate this one was my fault, but this one was a guy called Nick. I can't remember his surname now. Really lovely Australian chap, Nick something, and he talked for 2.5 hours. Well, I think all I said was "Hi, Nick," and asked him a question, and then interjected maybe twice, and then but everything he said was great. I was like, I shouldn't speak because I'm going to interrupt him. Like he can just keep going. I was like,
It
yeah.
It was a great ep. And the story I told Greg was that I started listening to that with the intention of painting one wall of my garage, and I painted all 4 walls of my garage with 2 coats by the end of that podcast. So it helped me through that. And with that story and that message of thanks, that's the gratitude that I owe you for giving me time to paint an entire garage or garage. Greg, thank you so much, and we will hear you on your podcast sometime soon.
Yes, I'll have you both on. It'd be lovely to have you. I'll return the gesture.
It's very kind of you. Have a lovely evening. Catch you later.
See you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Oh, wow. Good on you for coming up with pragmatism is a good word to describe that. Like, there's just so much like grounded empathy and understanding for other humans that, like, yeah, I think that's such a lovely episode.
Absolutely. I think we have to talk about something that's happening tomorrow quick, though, before we close things out. Tomorrow's a really big day.
Oh, for who? Me? Are we
For
talking
you,
about the
obviously for you.
So usually we do this on a Wednesday, but your boy's got his first ever paid stand-up gig. Someone's paying me to be funny on stage, where usually I just MC events and do keynote talking. I've actually got to say my jokes live and try and be funny. I think I've got it. I think I got it down. If I haven't, I imagine I won't be able to invoice them.
You'll be going through it in your sleep. You can ask Beth to tell you in the morning.
So this is the thing. Like, I have done less preparation for this than my previous stand-up sets because I think especially the stuff I've done with you, right, in this year, you know, with Disrupt HR Green Bay and Minneapolis, like, there's no preparation when you and I get on stage. There's believe it or not, because someone said, do you script this? And we're like, absolutely not. So I think since I've, I hadn't done stand-up comedy live on stage since before the pandemic. Did some virtual ones, and then kids came and haven't done any since. And so but have been on stage a lot in the past 2 years. I think I've just grown in comfort in my own voice and my own style that, if someone wants me to go on stage for 10 minutes and say some stuff about the world of work and try and be funny about it, I think I got it covered. But I'll let you know next week how it goes.
I think you proved that in Escanaba when you warmed up the crowd all by yourself, just with your accent. You're going to be great.
Oh, in Escanaba in Wisconsin, when it's like our good friend Mary went, can you do like some just warm-up material for the crowd about 3 minutes before we started? That's when I compared when someone said they were from a helicopter company and someone said they were from a blender company, and I said, hey, you guys should connect because you're just practically making the same things just on a different scale. Neither of them found it that funny, but I think everyone
but we did get a helicopter tour the next day.
We did. That's the wonderful world we live in. Actually, we don't have one next week because we've got the I've got the Evolving HR conference next week with KPM, Kirsty Baggs Morgan, happening. So we are back on the 26th of November with Peter Laughter, the chap with the best last name in the whole of the world.
I am so excited, Peter. I'm so excited that you enjoyed your time with Peter as much as I have enjoyed my time with Peter, and now we get to have time together with him. Amazing.
Very cool. And that's our penultimate episode. We'll have one more with a lovely chap called Nick Holder, who will come in the week after, and then we're done for the year recording. And we will start publishing these on Spotify. But for now,
we'll have made it past the 10 episode hump.
Hey, we're officially an actual podcast now, rather than just a hobby. What would you look at that? We're all grown up. And with that, we will see you next time. This time on Work Sucks.
Bye.